So Kathy Richardson is in the house.
Yeah.
She's back.
Good morning.
So good to be back from all of your travels and to see ya.
Thank you. Yes, it's great to be home. I was like, I couldn't wait to get out of here for so long. And now I'm like, this is too much. I need a rest. Yeah.
Well, you know what we're talking about today?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Talking about love.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. Well, I have the perfect song queued up for you.
I figured you would. So take it away.
Here we go. It's hard to see right now. Maybe you can admit there's only one way out. Baby, you're too deep in it. Time will tell you what is true. Heaven has a plan for you. You already own it. So don't give up now. Never stop hoping. Don't shut it down. Leave your heart open. You never know when it could be coming. Before you know it, you could be blindsided by love. You should know by now there ain't no way around it. There's only one way out. You know it when you found it. After all that you've been through, I can't tell you what to do. You already know it. So don't give up now. Never stop hoping. Don't shut it down. Leave your heart open. You never know when it could be coming. Before you know it, you could be blindsided by love. Love has a way of making you change, one broken heart at a time. If you just hold on tight, you'll be alright. So don't give up now. Never stop hoping. Don't shut it down. Leave your heart open. You never know when it could be coming. Before you know it, you could be blindsided by love. Blindsided by love. Blindsided by love. You never know when it could be coming. Before you know it, you could be blindsided by love. Blindsided by love. Blindsided by love.
Wow.
Welcome back, Kathy.
Thank
Woohoo.
you.
Yeah.
Back.
Wow, your voice is so awesome. Haven't heard your voice in a while, and man, you are you just get better and better every single time. What is up?
I've been working it.
Yeah.
Like they say, practice makes perfect.
Well, it's
Practicing.
awesome. Megan Lassman is back with us today. We're so grateful that you're here for the series. This is the last episode of the series of the Extravagant Promises. So welcome to SpeakEasy. My name is Maureen Muldoon, and I'm the spiritual mama bear of this community. I'm just grateful to be blessed to be part of this international community of extraordinary teachers and speakers and artists. We are a place to take a class and give a class. And later on, Mari is going to tell you about all the classes that we have to offer for free on our calendar. So for now, it's just great to be with you here in our community this morning. And if this is your first time, welcome. And if this is your second time, welcome back. And we hope that you make this your spiritual community. We're a global conversation that honors the Divine Mother and follows the teachings of A Course in Miracles. And we honor all paths to God. And we see you as a unique expression of love and peace and creativity and capability of divine embodiment. Like that's your potential, and we hold that for you. So SpeakEasy is an incubator of awesomeness. We love making dreams come true. We celebrate the very best of who we're capable of being. SpeakEasy is a place to be known and to know about the limitless nature of yourself. So today we have Mia Sarah doing our mission statement and praying us in. Mia Sarah from Ireland, who is starting SpeakEasy Ireland. What? Oh, I forgot to celebrate that. So awesome. So she'll be kicking that off soon. She already has a huge following over there in Ireland, and we're just joining forces for good. So grateful about that. So she'll share with you that mission statement, and then after she does, we'll have a conversation, and the conversation is the most important part of it, because that's where you get to share your truth. And then after the conversation, Kathy will sing a song, and then we'll pray out. So that's basically the layout of our time together. So I'm going to pass this to Mia.
Okay, so just taking a moment to still yourself and your body, and just to really hear and take in SpeakEasy's mission. So SpeakEasy is a diverse and progressive spiritual community sharing a message of love and engaging in conversations that inspire creative expression and spiritual well-being. Truth is our passion, love is our religion, care is our currency, and peace is our goal. We attempt to speak easily about tough and tender topics so that we can navigate life with greater wisdom and grace. We devote this service to the Divine Mother, to Mary Magdalene, Jesus, Buddha, and to all the names of God. To all saints and enlightened teachers and their teachings, specifically the teachings of ACIM. And now I invite you just to gently close your eyes down for a moment. And just let your breath pave a path into your heart. And today we're opening our heart to these beautiful words that come from John O'Donoghue, written in Connemara in County Galway. May this be a morning of innocent beginning, when the gift within you slips clear of the sticky web of the personal, with its hurt and hauntings and fixed fortress corners. A morning where you become a pure vessel of what wants to ascend from silence. May your imagination know the grace of perfect danger, to reach beyond imitation and the wheel of repetition, deep into the call of all the unfinished and unsolved, until the veil of the unknown yields and something original begins to stir toward your senses and grow stronger in your heart. And today, in hearing this poem, we just take a moment to acknowledge the omnipresence of love, the fullness of love, and to recognize that is who we are, what we are. We are extensions of pure love, and we are stepping into being love, knowing itself. And as we gather here today, we're giving thanks for our divine intuition. We give thanks for our knowing, in particular, our knowing how to handle situations particularly those that used to baffle us. And I know that Megan is going to so beautifully expand on this, so we can give thanks in advance for that. We know and claim deep realizations, the realizations that love does for us literally the things that we cannot do for ourselves. And so we give thanks again for this community and for this gathering that happens every Sunday morning. And we release this prayer now to the hands of the beloved with hearts full of gratitude. And together we say, so it is. Amen.
Thanks, Mia, my sister from another mister. Oh my God, we're like twins. I just love that COVID brought us together, that I got to, Mia and I have been friends for a while, just virtually, but like we never even had a conversation until this year. Little did we know how much we had in common. It's just been really great to see your influence on our community, on this community, on your community now. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah. And she'll be back to give another sermon. Looking forward to that coming up soon. But for now, we have Megan Lassman, who is just dazzling us for the last 5 weeks and bringing us deep into the practices and principles of the 12-step program, which is a spiritual program. And these extravagant promises that come from working this program, but really working any spiritual program with earnest and integrity. And so I'm just grateful to be riding side saddle with her once more this week. So please give it up for Megan Lassman.
Thank you, Maureen. I just wanted to say this has been such an unbelievable experience to be able to be with you guys for the past 6 weeks. And I think we saved the best for last in these 2 promises, right? I completely think that we did. So here we go. We're going to read them again for you. All 12. The extravagant promises. Promise number 1 is we're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. Okay. Oh, you have to unmute yourself though. We can't hear you.
Thanks. We've only been doing this 6 weeks, and every week she says we're going to read the promises, and I'm like, oh geez, where are they? Every freaking week. So here we go. 2, we will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it.
3, we will comprehend the word serenity.
4, we will know peace.
5, no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others.
Yeah, that's a miracle. 6, the feeling of uselessness and self-pity will slip away.
7, we will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows.
8, self-seeking will slip away.
9, our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change.
10, fear of people and economic insecurity will leave us.
11, we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us.
And 12, we will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves.
And I just love the prayer or poem, whatever that was that you just read, Mia Sarah, was so beautiful. So thank you for that. And I loved how you incorporated both promises in there. So the promise 11 is we're going to intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. And I know one emotion that we can all really relate to is feeling overwhelmed, right? And so I know for myself, when I am feeling overwhelmed and anxious and out of control, I feel like paralyzed with fear, and I can't seem to slow myself down. So it feels almost impossible to like slow the crazy train that's racing through my head. When I was using, these were the times that I desperately sought out alcohol and drugs, right? Because I really needed something to drown out the noise and the panic. And it worked almost immediately, just numbed me out, right? But the problem is that the relief is really only temporary. And as soon as any of those substances wore off, everything is right there, just like waiting for me. And so when I wasn't using, right, drugs and alcohol, like during the day when I was like, trying to mom and pretend, I used really protective armor to help me handle situations. But that meant I relied really heavily on like indecision, procrastination, avoidance. What a disaster. And even in early sobriety, once I was relieved of like my obsession and compulsion to use, I was still totally baffled by how to live life and handle really much of anything. So the amazing thing about AA is that it is a design for living. Like it really teaches us, but like taught me how to show up in situations that I would happily avoid. So for me, I know the program helped me to establish connection, right? To God, to other alcoholics, first and foremost. Then through them, I found a connection to my divine. And most importantly, and also a connection to myself. The reason I really think that I used is because I was desperate for connection. There's this British writer, his name's Johann Hari, and he did this TED Talk in 2015, and it's called Everything You Know About Addiction is Wrong. And it's actually my couples therapist who showed this to Matt and I. Mm-hmm. And in his talk, he stressed that like the way that we've been going about treating addiction is completely wrong. Like we have been threatening our connection to the addicts in our lives as a means for like scaring them clean. And Johann is like, that's the exact opposite of what we need to be doing. Mm-hmm. We actually need to like strengthen our intimate connection to them. Mm-hmm. Tell them that we love them, whether they're using or not, that we love them no matter what state they're in. And to tell them like, if you need me, I'm going to come sit with you because I don't want you to be alone ever. My God, that is like, whoo, that gets me. I mean, so I was just reminded of that as I was like prepping for this week. And then it just happens that when we were on our session with our couples therapist, I was saying to him, oh my God, help Matt and I. Like we have a raging teen and we do not know how to connect. And he was like, oh, you guys need to do 3 things, right? Like you need to be available, be emotionally engaged, and be responsive. Sounds really easy. And I was like, great, Alan, how do we do that? And he was like, here's an example. You would say, I understand that I am making you feel blank, right? Scared or angry. And I know that it's really scary to feel that way, right? Like he was just giving Matt and I some simple suggestions for honestly how to slow down, right? How to sit down and tune into her pain and be with it, be with her in it. Because I believe that's how we connect with one another, to just sit next to each other, validate our emotions. And for us, it was like help Ruby feel seen and heard, right? That's like how to practice empathy. So I was told this story yesterday. It demonstrates my point like so well, right? So there's a guy stuck in a hole, right? And so a priest walks by and throws a prayer into the hole. I mean, I guess, I don't know, so that the guy can like pray his way out. And then a doctor walks by and he throws a bottle of pills into the hole. I don't know, I guess so that the guy can numb out, not feel anything. And then his best friend walks by and jumps in the hole. And the guy's like, what are you doing? Why would you jump in the hole? And the friend says, because I've been here before. And I'm going to show you the way out. Oh, I mean, isn't that what we all really want? Don't we want someone to sit beside us, and hold our hand and hear us and just show us what they did to keep walking the path of peace? So being able, I think, to be able to sit with somebody in their pain It requires me to be okay with someone not being okay. That is not easy. This situation of trying to be with somebody who's not okay, that used to baffle me because I was always in so much pain myself that I had like no space for someone else's emotions. Basically, I was like, if you're not okay, then you're going to make me not okay. And that's not okay. Like, I don't got time for that. Right. You need to be fine. So everything can be fine. I think that I began to get okay with other people's pain by acknowledging my own, by talking about and finding willingness to heal my past traumas. And a large part of finding willingness began when I was able to get honest and really, this is one that I really still try to work on. It's to get still, right? And remember that I am connected to an infinite source. So step 11, sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. Sounds so pretty and like really simple. Just pray and meditate. Oh my God. I've been in AA a few 24 hours. I'm going to tell you that one is real hard for, I think, the majority of people in recovery, because like creating a consistent, meaningful spiritual practice took me a long, long time. And it wasn't really till I got to SpeakEasy or, to the ACIM lessons that my connection to a divine changed dramatically. Because when I first got to AA, it was like, you're fine. Just pray in the morning, pray at night, you'll be great. And that wasn't enough, because I was talking to Maureen yesterday and I was like, what the hell do you do for the rest of the day? Right? Like that's when the shit happens. So just doing it in the morning at night leaves my whole day open to run on my crazy self-will. So I started to get these reminders all throughout the day once I started to practice the ACIM lessons. And these reminders were like, hey, slow down, right? Like check in. And so instead of continuing to like barrel through my day running on my ego, I have these like tiny chimes that ring every hour on my phone. So the lovely Carol Ham had suggested this app that has these reminders with the day's lessons. And I don't know whether I love it or hate it. Not sure yet. Like verdict is still way out on this one, but I'm going to tell you a story about an incident this week when those goddamn chimes went off, like mid meltdown for me. Okay. So my Penelope, who we know has special needs, had to get a tooth pulled on Thursday. This is, as we all know from my story time over the past 5 weeks, this is not a kid who will comply with any demands from a dentist. So we had to like jack her full of meds, right? We give her Valium to like calm her down. Then we have to give her IV meds in order to pull this adult molar. Disgusting procedure. So, it was like gnarly. And you know me, I have to be like right in the middle of it the whole time. I can't just like let the doctor take her and pull it. So there I am. And he's like, well, putting his whole body weight on there to pull this tooth out. And I was like, okay, so the extraction and that whole like drama filled hour is going to be the worst of it. No, that's not true. So she can't like hold gauze in her mouth to help stop the bleeding from the extraction. So here's my visual for you guys. Ready? I'm like driving home, driving down the highway. She is constantly trying to put her hands in her mouth because she's like, now I have a big gaping hole. And I'm shoving gauze in her mouth. I've got blood like running down my hands. The whole dashboard is filled with like bloody gauze. It's disgusting. I'm crying. She's trying to like bite me. I'm frantic. Like I'm totally lost it at this point. And then I'm trying to like restrain her arms and my phone chimes. Okay. It's like, doo-doo-doo, right? And I was like, God damn it. And it chimes and like lesson 281 shows up, which is, I can be hurt by nothing but my own thoughts. And I was like, fucking seriously? really? Right now? I mean, I was like feeling a combination of wanting to throw my phone out the window and just trying to pause and just rest in that. And I was like, I couldn't honestly figure out whether this reminder was like mocking me during my meltdown, or was it gently reminding me that I could have peace? Like even in this bloodbath, you know, that is the craziness right there. Like that's the magic. It's like, thank God I have these annoying chimes because it just brought me back. And these chimes go off, by the way, like every hour. And I was so grateful. Okay, so did my whole like everything shift and change in that moment? No, but what a reminder that I got that like, this doesn't have to be your truth. This crazy train that you decided to buy the one-way ticket for. On top of this like ethereal chiming was my sponsees texting me because I have a bunch of them and they check in with me every day. And here's the thing, having to return my sponsees' phone calls and texts and listen to their pain in the midst of my own is really fucking hard because I was in my own pain. But I'm going to tell you something. It's what saves me. It's what helps me to slow down and reconnect. And Promise 12 says we will suddenly realize God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. And that's right. When Mia said at the beginning, what I cannot do for myself, if that story did not demonstrate it, is like, I don't know how to just choose peace. Right? I really don't, but sponsoring women and carrying the message, especially in the midst of like my own meltdown, that's what saves me. It immediately plugs me into something greater than myself. It's like, I feel like I all of a sudden, I know it's going to sound crazy, but like I become this channel and I feel like this download of like peace. And the stuff that comes out of my mouth is amazing. It is. It's like this spiritual knowledge that I know that's been handed down from a lineage of sober women can just come out of my mouth. And I have sponsored a lot of women that have come to me and left because it's only over time that I've learned how to like chill out and soften my approach to sponsoring. Like I find myself asking women now, like, which teacher are you choosing to work with in any given situation, right? Like, are you choosing love or are you choosing fear? Oh my God, drastically different than how I started out sponsoring some 8 years ago. You know, it was like, I know what is best and you're going to listen to me. And all of a sudden I find myself like, I don't know anymore. You know, how about we figure this out together? How about we just gently choose again? And how about we, instead of doing a traditional 10th step, how about you just tell me where you chose love, where you chose fear, and how about we just choose again? And so I think and I'm going to just tell you this, I was running the other day and I was like, wow, Megan, your life is now filled with AA meetings and sponsoring women and going to ACIM classes and doing the lessons. Like, whoa, your life is so filled with like spirituality. And I'll just say this, I'm at our block party last night and we had a band and it was like really fun and everyone's drinking. And I was like, oh, excuse me, I need to go do a Zoom again. And this guy who was in the band was like, do you work? And I was like, okay, kind of, but I don't really get paid for it. He's like, what do you do? I was like, well, it's spiritual work. And he was like, oh, totally. And I was like, this is my life. How cool is that? How cool is that? How blessed am I? So I just want to thank you all for giving me the opportunity to be here for the last 6 weeks and to share my experience, strength, and hope, but really just to be real and to have some conversations that have been not always easy, but I mean, I'm sorry, Maureen, I know it's speakeasy, but just tough and tender topics. And that's exactly what I think we've covered. And it's been an amazing opportunity for me to grow and learn more about myself. So thanks for letting me share.
Thank you, Megan. And yeah, it's been a great series. And I love the story about the hole. And I love the use of your mouth hole being made holy. And I have a story that I want to share about a hole, a story that I love, a hole that I love. You can really take that a lot of different ways, but I mean it in the most holy way. So, and here's the thing also, Megan, like when you said to the man, like, I'm not being paid for it, that's not true. You are being paid. You just decided to give that money back to Speakeasy, and I want to honor you for that. But I also don't want anyone to ever assume that when you work for God, you don't get paid. Okay, so this is not what we're propagating here. We are, artists, artisans, spiritual teachers, but also very well compensated by our divine. And that's the message that I have for myself and for each of us, because I think that old story is horseradish. I've never used that word before, but this is the story of the whole. And this story was told to me in 5 chapters, and I added a chapter or 2 on because I just like a parade on a party, as you know. So the story was from Portia Nelson, and it's called There's a Hole in My Sidewalk. And it really sums up everything that we've been talking about over this last 6 weeks. First chapter, I walk down the street. There's a hole in the sidewalk. I fall in, I get lost, I'm helpless. It's my fault. It takes forever to find my way out. Chapter 2, I walk down the same street. There's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I fall in again. I can't believe I'm in the same place, but it's my fault. It still takes me a long time to get out. Chapter 3, there's a deep hole in the sidewalk. I walk down the street. I see it there. I fall in. It's a habit. My eyes are open. I know where I am. And now it's my responsibility. And I get the fuck out immediately. She didn't put the word fuck in her story, but anyway, chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There's a hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. Chapter 5, I walk down another street. And that's where her story ends. My chapter 6 goes something like this. I get a fucking shovel. I go back to the fucking hole and I fill it the fuck in so that no one ever has to walk down the street and fall in that particular fucking hole anymore. And I got to see this demonstrated by Kathy Richardson just 2 weeks ago when she was filling in a hole. And she had the opportunity where she was given an awards at her high school for their Hall of Fame. And she went back to her high school, which in some ways was a dark hole for her because she experienced depression and anxiety there about being a gay kid in a very straight environment. And she used the opportunity of receiving this award as an opportunity for activism. And she talked about being gay, and she talked about how hard it was to come out. And she talked to the kid in the audience who needed to hear her story in a very white, suburban, straight environment. And she could have told 1,000 other stories, right? I mean, she could have told about where she'd been, who'd she done, and all the awards and albums and amazing things that she had done with her life. But instead, she took that opportunity to fill in a hole for someone. And for me, that's the money shot. That is the opportunity to really allow yourself to be fully used. I would also add chapter 7, like if you don't like to deal with shovels, to get a sign and go to your holes and put a sign up and write on it, hey, dumbass, look where you're going, because if you don't figure it out, you're going to fall in a fucking hole and hurt yourself and others. Love someone who's been in a lot of holes. So as we draw this journey to completion, we arrive not so much at a destination, but at a clearer awareness of our destiny. We're destined to be in peace and purpose and possessed by what? By love, to live in that possession of ourselves. And sure, we have all come through some rough spots, and that's what makes us beautiful. And sure, we have fallen down, holes, and we've forgotten ourselves, but the divine has not forgotten you, never has, never could, never would. You know, God is doing backflips for you at every moment. God is seeking to dazzle, romance, nurture, shock you, electrify you, and rock you, as my friend Kathy likes to sing sometimes. God is sprinkling your path with signs and symbols, synchronicities, with sassy, sober sisters like Megan Lassman, who will hunt you down and help you return to your throne of your own divinity. And that's what the world is all about. And you could be that. So you could have that type of God, you know, you just have to let go of everything else. I know that sounds drastic, but you don't want to get anything in the way of your direct communication. You want to melt like a sweet cube of sugar in the hot tea of God. And so that when you say, like, sometimes I feel like a channel, that's exactly what's happening. You are a channel. You are a channel, and you get to decide, am I channeling like beauty or bullshit? I am cursing a lot today. I had coffee. I apologize for nothing. I've made all of my apologies already, thanks to these 12 steps, you know, and I know how to make an immediate amends when, you know, I trespass against people. But you know, we who have come through this program no longer have to apologize for ourselves. We are the most perfect, pristine stained glass windows that God will use to speak to those who need to hear our voices. And if they get ruffled and, you know, distracted by the sound of our voices, then they're just not the person that you're supposed to help. Don't get hung up or strung out by that. And I mean by that is that your kids will not hear you. You're not their teacher. You know, but don't worry about that. You know, that doesn't mean that you're not supposed to still speak the truth and speak it where you can. So you can't become a channel, not by trying to carry the message. That's not it. You become a channel by getting everything else out of the way, because the flower doesn't try to smell good. You know, the water doesn't try and quench your thirst. You know, it would be really awkward if we were called to try to be these things, and we're not awkward, we're graceful. So we don't need to carry the message to those who are still suffering, because we get to carry it, and it carries us through and to everyone, not just to those who still suffer, you know, because the wind doesn't parcel itself out for special people, but it comes to anyone, and everyone can use a cool breeze every once in a while. We exclude nobody. That's what it looks like when you become aligned with the grand plan of God. And as you reach the spiritual awakening, you don't need to practice these principles in all your affairs, because if you allow yourself to sit close to the principles, they will become the pristine version of you. You know, like the sun doesn't practice rising, the bird doesn't practice flying, and you don't have to practice being divine. You just sit close to the principles, and they will make your life so on point that you'll, like Megan said, like you won't recognize yourself. Because you're not a magician, you're a fucking mystic. That's what you're capable of being. And you can experience this idea of happy, joyous, and free, because God is doing for you what you actually can't do for yourself. So yourself needs to get out of the way so that God can come through you. Jesus says, it's not I, but the source that does the work through me. So we don't even have to work. We just have to get our bloated nothingness out of the way. And we can say, truly, are these extravagant promises? We think not. And that's the word. And I'll pass it to my dear friend, Kathy Richardson.
So, hey, sorry. I was all tuned up for one song, and then after you just spoke, Maureen, I'm like, it's like basically like she's begging me to play this one other song. So I'm just retuning for that. Hang on.
I love when you let inspiration drive the show.
No, yeah, exactly. You can't plan anything. Please don't break. Please don't break. Please don't break. There you go. Jeez. Almost. I had like retuned every string to a different note. Okay.
It's all good. We'll wait for brilliance.
The Grateful Dead concerts. They just tune on stage. Sometimes I wish I. Oh, wait, how does it go? Oh, I remember now. Starting over. Sometimes I miss my addictions when there's nowhere left to run. When I need a friend to talk to and there's no one. Digging in the dirt for inspiration, don't know what I expect to find. Searching for words coming up empty, too much clutter in my mind. I wanna move, there's too much traffic. I wanna hear, there's too much static. I wanna find something real, but it's all just plastic. Yeah, I gotta do something drastic. Gotta do something new. How I wish I was a magician. I would make you disappear. If only I knew how to replace you. And with what, my dear? Maybe I can make a pile of money, settle down and have a child, quit my job and buy a sailboat, go around the ocean for a while. I wanna move, there's too much traffic. I wanna hear, but there's too much static. I wanna find something real, but it's all just plastic. Yeah, I gotta do something drastic. Gotta do something new. 1 foot stands in destiny, but what about the rest of me? I got to do what's best for me. Sometimes holding on means letting go. I wanna move, but there's too much traffic. I wanna hear, but there's too much static. I wanna find something real, but it's all just plastic. Yeah, I gotta do something drastic. Gotta do something new. I wanna hear, there's too much static. I gotta feel something real, but it's all just plastic. Yeah, I gotta do something drastic.
Oh, my Lord.
Lovely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune it up for that song. I know, so many goosebumps. I was videotaping Carol Ham and Dave out on the lawn dancing to that song. It was so beautiful. Didn't want you to think I was taking a selfie, which I've been known to do in the midst of service. Just kidding. How about that song?
I was like, what? My whole body was just in bliss. Kathy.
You wrote that one too?
Yeah, that I wrote with Zach Smith, but I wrote the words, and I wrote most of it. Let's face it. But I did co-write that with Zach Smith from Macrodaughts.
Love it.
Everything.
Love.
Beth Morgan is in the house with the announcements today.
Yeah. So in addition to this amazing service every Sunday, this vibrant community has a whole lot of other things to offer, and I'm here to share them with you. First, you can start your day with sacred movement. We've got yoga and karate and dance, and there's going to be more offerings added to that. And it's every Monday through Friday, 7:30 in the morning. Please come join us. These are amazing half-hour classes to get your day going. Want to just highlight some other things here. Every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and every Tuesday at 4 p.m. we have the Course in Miracles study of the text. Wednesday evenings is with Mari and Maureen, and Tuesday afternoons is with Elizabeth. We also have every Wednesday at noon and every Thursday at 7 p.m. 12 steps to miracles. So this is a beautiful 12-step gathering. Whatever 12-step program you're in, you're welcome to participate. And then this Saturday is the Mary Magdalena meditation with Liz Wasserman. It's at 1 p.m. And if you haven't experienced those get yourself nourished with that meditation. That is a beautiful, very nourishing meditation. And just to let you know, we've got a new offering with Mia Sarah called Havening. And it's a beautiful experience of bringing ACIM and Havening, which, Mia, do you want to say something?
Yeah, just very briefly. So havening is a self-soothing touch, which literally brings you into a delta wave state. And in that really relaxed state, then we can very easily take on teachings or unveil or, allow the mystery to unfold because we're in a beautifully relaxed state. And we're combining it, by the way, with cacao. You don't have to have cacao, but if you have a mug of cacao and you want to do some havening, like that's just like tripping out on gifts from God. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. And that's happening Saturday, October 23rd at 1 p.m. Central Time. And Culture Club is back. That will be back Sunday, October 24th. There is a full calendar of offerings. The link to the calendar is in the chat. Please check it out. Please come join this vibrant community with any one of its many offerings.
Thank you, Beth.
I just love the story that you shared about the walking on the sidewalk and falling in the same hole. And where I could bring up a daycare story, I do remember my sister as a lieutenant in the fire department talking about how when people made mistakes that they had to be withdrawn or punished from the rig that they were on because it affected their lives of others. And she was running out of examples. And if you keep taking people off the rig, there wasn't anybody left. And she saw one day, and I've told this story in my daycare, and I forgot to tie it, and I'd like to tie it here, where she saw me running to tell a child who was too young to climb a ladder, and how instead of telling him to get off and do this and don't do that, which is basically what she was doing with the rigs, I told this young child what to do next. So she went back, never told me until years later that from then on, every time a young firefighter made a mistake, she took the time to teach. She took the time to say, I'm not going to punish you. I'm going to do it differently. I'm going to show you how to do it differently. And then that person was able to rise up and enjoy the chance to learn and choose again and to be present to his new challenges because he just didn't know better. But once someone ahead could lead him to know better, he could be better. And simply, she didn't run out of firefighters as she was punishing them all. So I think that was a good example of that story that you're telling. And I know Kathy is next, but it's at some point here, Beth needs
Oh.
to talk about.
Oh, Carol Ham has her hand up, actually.
Oh,
Oh, she's telling me it's raining. That was what her hand was up about. You know, my husband told me a story like that today, Joni, where he works on the boat and, you know, he's got to get people to put their masks on. And, you know, like we were saying, does anybody ever say like, no, go screw yourself, we're not putting our mask on? He's like, yeah, every once in a while, like usually big curly, like Harley Davidson dudes. So you don't want to like have to correct if you can, you know, avoid that. So we say to him, like, what do you do? And he goes, well, I just go up to him and I say, hey, buddy, look it. I understand that this is a pain in the ass. But I got to wear this fucking mask for 12 hours and I'm just asking you for 20 minutes. And if you do it, like my boss will, you know, be up my ass for the next hour. So could you help me out? And he's at every single time they're like, yeah, okay. You know, and it's just so interesting. I'm like, Will, it's such a beautiful like demonstration of like, we just want to be treated like human beings. Like, is that too much to ask? Megan, did you want to share anything else?
No, but I do love Joni's story. And when you were talking about Will, it reminded me that when you ask someone to help you, right, instead of telling them what to do, it's like an invitation. And I find people much more open to doing something that they never knew they wanted to do in the first place or thought they wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And it works with kids sometimes too.
Yeah. Recruit the kinder side instead of controlling. And you taught me that. You taught me connection rather than correction. Well, one day I'll actually learn that, but I really like the sound of it in the meantime.
I like yours better because I always say validate instead of reassure, but connection correction just flows better. So I like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Kathy Richardson is back with a song.
Hey, thanks everybody. And thanks for all the comments, the kind comments. And if you do want to find any of my music, you can just go to my website, kathyrichandson.com, and I will personally send you a copy because my basement is filled with potential, which is all of my albums, thousands of them. So be happy to ship them off to you. It's another one I wrote with Kristen Hall. I'll try, but I'm tongue-tied. Words fail, leave a faint trail, like moments from a lifetime, hardly compare to what's actually there, or to you, my love. Just can't believe all the love I've been given. Done awful things, but always been forgiven. Always digging for clues, looked every direction, but all roads lead right back to you, my love. Was a long